Tell me a little bit about T360 as a business when you first met them.
So T360's it's a new group, but I'd met Geoff Olds probably 10 years or so ago.
Okay.
When he was running his company back then, which was an IT company. I met him in a BNI networking group, and the first time I met him, he struck me as somebody who really, I guess, wanted to do more than most of the other people there. He also struck me as somebody that was able to communicate what he wanted to do very well.
Yeah.
So we got on pretty well, and I was giving him ad hoc advice, and then probably, I'd say about 2.5 years after that, we took over the accounting role of the IT company then.
Yeah.
And doing more the traditional year-end work and, advice around that. What had become apparent at that point of time is that the internal processes of bookkeeping were really not giving him the information he needed to run his business.
Okay.
And so...
sorry, what was he missing? What?
Well, I guess the point was that he had a team in there.
Yeah.
And they were not doing what they needed to do in terms of giving him the numbers he needed. They were processing, and they were processing data after the date, and making fundamental mistakes. So he needed to make a choice. Do I go and employ a CFO style person within that business? And if I am, that's going to cost me a considerable amount of money to get somebody with the skill sets that understands this stuff.
Yeah.
So he approached us and said, can you take over this, this CFO role?
Yeah.
And, we said, yes, we can. And look, in essence, he two people within that organisation left. That was his bookkeeper and his accountant.
Right.
And we replaced that role.
Okay.
At a fee that was less than he was paying those people.
Wow. What I'm thinking then is you're bringing in a number of skill sets into the business. Is that correct?
Absolutely correct, Deb. So because we deal with so many people, what we learn here, what we understand there, we can replicate in somebody else's business. That isn't to say you're compromising any of the confidentiality.
Sure.
But because we do this all the time, because we're always challenging ourselves, because we've got different skill sets in the team, it's not one person sitting at a desk going, how do I figure this out? But there's 20 people here that have got a view, have seen that before, know somebody. So exactly right. We increase that skill set.
Yeah, great. For less cost.
For less cost.
Great. And then did you give him the information he needed to make decisions in the business?
We gave him the information he needed to make those decisions in the business, and then over the next 3 or 4 years, that business radically changed.
Oh, yeah?
It also radically changed to the point where that business is no longer just an IT business, but it's now an IT business. It's a payroll processing bureau, and it's an employment HR business as well. And those 3 businesses were brought in together to form a group because over the years they've been interacting and charging each other money. We put them together, and there's amazing synergies formed, and we're acting for the CFO against the whole group.
Wow. So
we've reduced their costs while providing a much higher level of service.
Cool.
Now that group is hoping within the next few years to get some external investment, particularly to ramp up the HR componentry, because that's software componentry. And they're starting to deal with people like Salvation Army, Jamie's Restaurant, and the larger franchise groups.
Right. Awesome.
Awesome, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Working with Geoff is an absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
Because there's a couple of things about Geoff that are great. Firstly, he's very driven.
Yeah.
Really driven to achieve something in his life, and it's not just the money. He wants to make something in his life. The guys within that group, they have a desire that once they, they start to generate some profits, that they want to put a bit back into the community, particularly overseas communities.
Great.
Secondly, they're more than happy to take advice. So they don't close themselves off to anything.
Yeah.
And that isn't to say that everything is suggested or proposed goes through, but really they analyse things and go, well, does this do best for the company? If the answer is yes, let's progress with it.
Right.
So they're great people to work with.
Yeah, wonderful. So in the time that you've been working with them, Michael, this business has changed enormously. Can you just talk about, how you feel you've been instrumental in helping them,
sure,
manage that change?
Okay, so there's probably three areas that I'll talk about the big changes are. So what we've tried to do is help Geoff and a couple of the co-directors shift from working in the business to working on the business. How have we done that? We've done that by being able to give them accurate information on which to base those decisions. Not only that, they're pretty now, well, they are very confident in the numbers and what is going on. Prior to our engagement, there was always doubts about, is this exactly how much I owe? Is this how much we're owed? Is this what's in the bank, etc., etc.? So a lot of his time was going, I better check that.
Yeah.
So that's taken a huge burden off those guys. They can work on the business.
Yeah.
The second one is, and they might not be too ready to admit this, but we've driven some accountability into them.
Yeah, right.
And we do this by having monthly board meetings.
Yeah.
And in those monthly board meetings, we talk about results, we talk about strategy, and then we talk about what needs to be done over the next month. Then because that what needs to be done over the next month has action items and who's doing it, they're not going to turn up without them being done.
Yeah, right.
So that's the accountability. The third one is, and this is linked, I guess, to the accountabilities. Their view now is very strategic about what they want to do with their business rather than reactionary.
Yeah, brilliant.
And that put those three things together, they are now in a place where they feel within themselves that they're going somewhere rather than being on a treadmill reacting to the latest person on the phone that's got an issue.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that must feel
pretty cool.
Yeah, that must feel
cool.
pretty cool.
It is.
Yeah, well done.
That's what we do. We enjoy it. I personally get a great buzz out of doing it. It's not really a job to me. I get up and I really enjoy this. Best thing is we also get paid for doing something you enjoy. As well as that, it takes us to different places around Australia and the world. They have offices in the ACT, Adelaide and Melbourne. So, we move around and see those people. And I've got fun memories of, one evening in Paris that Geoff was in Paris with his girlfriend, and I was in Paris with my wife, and he phoned me up and said, let's do dinner. So, life is good.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks,
Yeah,
Michael.
pretty
That's
good.
awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.